Welcome to Life Conversations with Senior Helpers, the podcast that takes you on a heartfelt journey through the art of aging gracefully. Join our hosts, Christina Chartrand and David Chandler, as they engage in candid and compassionate discussions about both the joys and challenges of growing older. Tune in to gain valuable tips, expert advice, and essential resources that empower you or your loved ones to embrace the beauty in every stage of life. Let's embark on these enlightening conversations together. Here are your hosts, David and Christina.
Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Life Conversations with Christina Chartrand
and David Chandler. Christina, how are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was very nice. I had two Thanksgivings. I had one with my mom because she couldn't travel this year, and I had one with my husband and some of our very good friends. How about you?
Nice. I had 3 Thanksgivings. I was up in Baltimore with my family, and then down here in Houston with my other family and with my fiance's family. So we had a very nice Thanksgiving. I need to get out now and get on the treadmill a little bit before the rest of the holidays comes.
I know the feeling. I just feel like through these next few weeks, it's just, it's a lot of food.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just, that's why the gyms are so busy in January, which should be one of our topics that we
I
can
was
talk
just
about
thinking we'll need to do a topic in January on, healthy resolutions for the new year and getting in shape. So I like that. We need to put that on our docket.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea.
So today,
what's our topic today? Yeah, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about seniors and the flu vaccine. This is actually a topic that is near and dear to my heart because I feel like it's really important for seniors and their caregivers and families who are interacting with them to also get the flu vaccine. It's such an easy way to help prevent complications, and there's a lot of seniors, unfortunately, that get really sick or can even pass away from the flu. So today we're going to talk about the flu vaccine and some reasons to get the flu vaccine, as well as some myths around why people may avoid getting the flu vaccine.
Yeah, I'll have to say, David, I have not gotten the flu vaccine this year. Yeah, I feel like I've been vaccinated out, and I just haven't done it. And so I can come up with a lot of reasons today of not to get a flu shot. You want to hear them?
I do. Let's see what you got. And that actually, what you mentioned already is being kind of vaccinated out is a really great point in that the flu vaccine is specially developed each year for the strains that are believed to be most prominent or most prevalent that year. So it is important. There is a myth that once people receive the flu vaccine that they don't need to receive it again. So even if you're feeling vaccinated out, I understand these last few years we've gotten a lot of vaccines. There is a lot going on with COVID, but it is important each year to get your flu vaccine based on what strains of flu may be out there, so you're best protected. So get out there and get it. And actually, Christina, I think I'm jumping ahead of some of your questions, but you said you hadn't gotten your flu vaccine yet, and some people may be feeling like, oh, I'm getting too late into the season.
It's too late in the season.
Yeah,
I mean, we're already almost at, past Thanksgiving, we're almost at winter. So I'm sure, and doesn't it say it takes a couple of weeks for it to kick in? So I'm sure I'm too late.
Yeah, great question. So while it is optimal to get the flu vaccine earlier in the season, there is still time to go get it. Even if you're later into the season, it's still going to give you a level of protection. And it does take a little bit of time for your body to develop that immunity. But the encouragement is still, even if it's late into the season, to still go and get your flu vaccine, because it's not too late. You're still going to get some level of protection as we're continuing into the flu season.
Well, one of the things that happens to me and probably happens to other people is that when I get the vaccine, 12 hours later, for the next 24 hours, I do not feel good. I have flu-like symptoms, including a fever. And so I don't like to feel that way. And so I avoid it because I don't want to feel like that.
Yeah, great question. And so most of the time, the flu vaccine is not going to cause those side effects, but there are some people that may experience some soreness at the injection site. I know that's one of the common ones that I feel when I get that injection is some soreness there, especially when I'm moving my arm, and that is normal. What side effects you may have from the flu vaccine do include getting a low grade fever, okay, for those who do have that reaction. And sometimes you can have a little bit of aches and pains, but that in comparison with getting the flu, especially with our seniors that can have some other conditions, if they have COPD or congestive heart failure, that flu can really amplify those conditions in them, and those comorbidities can lead to more severe complications from the flu. So yes, that can happen. You can get that pain at the injection site. You may run a little bit of a low grade fever, but that really pales in comparison to winding up in the hospital from having the flu or going days with nausea and vomiting and severe body aches and pains. So still get that vaccine.
And I think, one of the myths that pop around is that, or at least how maybe one of the reasons I haven't gotten it is like, what's the big deal? Like if you get the flu, right?
Right.
It's a couple of days of not feeling very well. But you were saying that sometimes that flu then can turn into other things.
Yeah, and especially that's true with seniors.
Mm-hmm.
So it is important to get the flu vaccine each year, and especially for seniors that have those comorbidities, that it can exacerbate them, and it can wind up with them going to the hospital, or there are even more severe complications where people can wind up on a ventilator or even passing away from the flu. It happens a lot more than I think people think, those severe complications from the flu.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think, what happened so much around COVID is that there was so much news around people who were in the hospital and who were sick. And I think now these days we're not hearing about that, but there are still people sick in the hospital. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And flu can also lead to pneumonia. You can have that as a complication. I had a touch of pneumonia. Christina, you probably
Oh
remember
my
this.
gosh, I know.
Yeah, I had a touch of pneumonia earlier this year in July, and it was still months later where I would have wheezing, and it really took me out for a couple weeks. And that's one of those conditions that even if you have the flu, just for 3 to 5 days, if you develop that pneumonia, you can still have those complications in your lungs that can last for months. So pneumonia is no fun. That's the second time I've had pneumonia in my life, and it is no fun when you have it. And once you've had pneumonia once, you are actually more predisposed to get it again. So for those of you who have had pneumonia once in your life, that's an extra reason to go and get the flu vaccine, because you actually can go and get pneumonia again more easily.
That is something to think about. What about people who are saying, well, maybe they don't have a primary care doctor, they're not sure whether to get the flu shot, or maybe they can't afford it? What are some thoughts around that?
Yeah, great question. So for people that can't afford the flu vaccine, there are a lot of great resources that are available. So your local pharmacy, check with them. Sometimes they'll offer free flu vaccine clinics. There are also other community-based programs that will offer free flu vaccines. So check those out, do some research, see where you can go and get a free flu vaccine. So there are also some options for going and getting low cost. Like if you have a coupon or a voucher, you can go and get some low cost flu vaccine, sometimes for as low as $10 or $15. So it might be worth it to give your local pharmacy a call and see if they're having a free flu vaccine clinic, or if they have a recommendation, they probably know, I'm sure they get those calls about, where can I go to get a low cost or a free flu vaccine, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction.
Right. So what if you do get the flu? Then what?
Good question. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and give your doctor a call. Let them know what's going on. Check in.
Should you get tested to make sure it is the flu?
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a good idea to go ahead and they may have some antivirals if you've been exposed or early on that you can take to kind of minimize some of those effects. So it is a great idea to check in with your physician. Some other things to recommend: rest and hydration. Okay. Take it easy. Take it easy. While you have the flu, you need to rest and let your body recover. Don't push yourself. Make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids. If you're having nausea and vomiting to the point where you're not able to keep anything down, that's even more critical for our seniors. If they're having vomiting or diarrhea, it's even more important for them to, if you've gone a certain amount of time without being able to eat or drink or keep anything down, it's really important to get to the hospital, and they may need to start an IV to get you some fluids. Yeah. It's also a good idea to stay isolated. You don't want to expose other family members. This is a short time that hopefully we're talking about the time that you have the flu. It's a good idea to you don't want to have that's not a good time to have a holiday dinner where you have the whole family coming over while you have the flu or while you're having flu-like symptoms. And that goes for family caregivers as well. So if somebody's going in, it's good to stay isolated from a senior that you're caring for, because you don't want to expose them to the flu and having some of those complications. Following a good diet, having making sure that you're eating well during that time, and then also having the vaccination. I'm going to mention that again for caregivers. If you are a caregiver, a family member caring for a senior, it's a really good idea for you to also get the vaccine to protect your loved one.
Wow, this is a lot of really good information. I think really helpful, and for all of us. I think sometimes we think of our aging loved ones, and that's kind of what we talk about with Life Conversations, but you and me, we should be getting one too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Christina. So you need to go get your flu vaccine
All
now.
right, I'm going to. I'm going to plan out my day so that the next day when my arm hurts and I'm feeling achy, but I know it's temporary.
Yeah. And this is actually a great time to talk about this, because next week is the flu vaccine week. So so a great time to go and schedule your appointment. If you haven't gotten your flu vaccine yet, next week is a great time to go and do that.
All right. Sounds good. Well, lots of great learning. This was fun.
It was fun. Looking forward to our next episode. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Life Conversations with Senior Helpers. We hope this discussion has inspired you to embrace aging gracefully and independently. For more resources, tips, and expert insights, please visit us online at seniorhelpers.com. Stay connected, keep learning, and continue cherishing the moments that make life truly special. We're here to support you every step of the way. Until next time.